Studies Section 8 Strategic Thinking Introduction. In the previous studies section, we discussed competition in real life. Under this study section, we will examine strategic ways of thinking or making decisions, dominant strategy, Nash equilibrium, prison dilemma. Games will be exposed to you. Learning outcomes. When you have studied this study section, you should be able to analyze the strategic ways through which economic agents interact, make strategic decisions in an economic situation. Game theory. Economic agents can interact strategically in a variety of ways. Many of these can be analyzed using the tool of game theory. Game theory, therefore, is concerned with the general analysis of strategic interaction. It can be used to study economic behavior, political negotiation, and any other decision-taking games. However, game theory is a major branch of economic analysis that provides many insights into the real-world behavior of economic agents in situations where there is an actual or potential conflict of interest. The prisoner's dilemma. This is a particular game between two captured prisoners that illustrates why cooperation is difficult to maintain even when it is mutually beneficial. Consider, for example, the game depicted in Table 9.3 below. Player A: confess, deny. Player B: confess, deny. Player A confess, -3, -3, 0. Mistake again. Player A confess, deny. Player B confess, deny. Player A confess, -3, -3. Player A deny, -6, 0. Player B confess, -3, -3. Player B deny, 0, -6. It is a situation where two prisoners who were partners in a crime were being questioned in separate rooms. Each prisoner had a choice of confessing to the crime and thereby implicating the other, or denying that he had participated in the crime. If only one prisoner confessed, then he would go free and the authorities would throw the book to the other person, requiring him to spend 6 months in prison. If both prisoners denied being involved, then both would be held for 1 month, and if both players confessed, they would both be held for 3 months. Thus, the unique Nash equilibrium for this game is for both players to confess. In fact, both players confessing is not only a Nash equilibrium, it is dominant strategy equilibrium, since each player has the same optimal choice independent of the other player. Strategic and non-strategic decision making. The essential difference between strategic and non-strategic decisions is that the latter can be made in isolation without taking into account the decisions that others might make. For example, the theory of consumer is a model of non-strategic behavior. Given prices and income, each consumer acts entirely on its own without regard for the behavior of others. On the other hand, oligopolistic market structure is a model of strategic decision making. This is simply because each firm takes into account the decision or action of other firms in the industry. Dominant strategy. It is a strategy that gives optimum payoff no matter what the other person or opponent does. Thus, dominant strategy equilibrium is a choice of strategies by each player such that each strategy dominates every other strategy available to that player. For example, Suppose that the possible outcomes of the increased spending under the alternatives more are given in the payoff matrix presented in Table 8.1 below. Lagos strategy. Oyo strategy. Lagos strategy: increase 25,000, 15,000, 20,000, 10,000. Not increase 40,000, 10,000, 0, 0. Oyo strategy: increase 25,000, 15,000, 40,000. Zero. Not increase 20,000, 10,000, 10,000, 0. If Oyo and Lagos state government contemplate on increasing spending on education, as the matrix shows, if Oyo decides to increase its spending and Lagos counteracts Oyo's move by increasing its own spending, Oyo's human resources go up by 25% and that of Lagos by 15%. And if Oyo's increases its spending and Lagos does not, then Oyo's gains from human resources is 40,000 and no gain to Lagos. From this analysis, it is clear from the payoff matrix that Oyo will choose the strategy of increasing expenditure on education because no matter what Lagos does, its gain will increase by at least 25,000. This is therefore the dominant strategy for Oyo. Nash equilibrium. This is named after an American mathematician in 1951 called John Nash. It is a technique of finding equilibrium in a game where there is no dominant strategy. More formally, it can be defined as a pair of mixed strategy such that each agent's choice maximizes its expected utility given the strategy of the other agent. Simply put, it is one in which none of the players can improve their payoff given the strategy of the other players. The Nash equilibrium can be illustrated by making some modifications in the payoff matrix in Table 1. Lagos strategy. Oyo strategy. Lagos strategy: increase 25,000, 10,000, 15,000, 20,000. Not increase 40,000, 0, 0, 10,000. Oyo strategy: increase 25,000, 15,000, 40,000, 0. Not increase 10,000, 20,000, 0, 10,000. From the table, it can be seen that Oyo has no more a dominant strategy. Its optimum decision depends now on what Lagos does. If Lagos increases her expenditure, Oyo has no option but to increase her expenditure. In the final analysis, however, both the states will decide to increase their spending on education. The reason is, if none of the states increases spending on education, Oyo State gains more in terms of benefit from human resources, 30,000, and the gain of Lagos is much less, 10,000. Pure and mixed strategy. A pure strategy is when a player chooses a strategy once and for all. That is, each agent is making one choice and sticking to it, while a mixed strategy is to allow the agent to randomize their strategies by assigning a probability to each choice and to play their choices according to those probabilities. Question: what is a dominant strategy for a player in a game? It is a strategy that gives optimum payoff, regardless of what strategy the other player plays. Dominant strategy equilibrium is a choice of strategies by each player such that each strategy dominates gives the optimum payoff every other strategy available to that player. Note, it should be noted that it's not every game that involves either dominant strategy or Nash equilibrium. Study session summary. In this study session, you have been exposed to game theory and its components such as dominant strategy, Nash equilibrium, as well as prisoner dilemma. Also, you have been acquainted with pure and mixed strategic thinking. This is the end of Studies Section 8. Thanks for listening.